If you're trying to get your ex back, there is one thing you need to do first, and that's to get you back. In the next 30 seconds, I'm gonna make your life a lot more simple, a lot more clear. It's not complicated. When you feel great, you speak great. When you feel great, you make different decisions. When you feel great, you become the kind of person people want to be and the kind of person people want to be around. But feeling great ain't a concept. It's not an idea. It's a skill. Even more accurately put, it's a conditioning. When you feel great, that is the crux, the fuel, the foundation to make everything come true. That is what shifts your relationships in your favor. But again, feeling great is a skill. It's a conditioning. Well, the only reasons why people go many years or decades without even addressing the core is very simple. Most people confuse times in their life where things are going their way. It's very easy to confuse times in your life where you're in Disney World or on vacation or everything's going your way. Just because you can feel good when things are going your way, that is not a skill. The real question is, can you still feel good when things are not going your way? Because the truth is, when your emotions get the better of you, that's exactly when you say and do things you should not be saying or doing. Contrary to popular belief, sometimes the grass is greener on the other side. So if you really want to change the trajectory of your relationship and really rebuild it from the ashes, you first have to get you back. People respond in accordance to the version of you bring to the table. If you get yourself feeling good, you'll start speaking differently, making different decisions, and you'll actually become the kind of person that people want to fight for. Super simple. Address the emotional core, your relationships and your life will turn around. Are you sick and tired of living an emotional Groundhog Day? Do you want to finally feel like yourself again? Awesome. Great. Let's do it. It is go time. All right. So here's the first step. First step in your resurrection is to attend my 5 shifts to go from pain to power in days, not weeks, not months, not years, days. So if you look below the video, you'll see a nice, easy link there to go attend my webinar. Again, it's fully free. See the link below, click it. It'll then take you to a page, just like you see here. Obviously, you're going to claim your spot. You click the link and then put in your name. Simple as that. Book your spot. Within a few minutes, you'll have an opportunity to attend, and I will show you a world you won't believe. But yeah, this is it. This is the first step here. And by the way, after you're done, you'll have an opportunity to book a call with me, not one of my coaches, me personally, okay? So that's it. This is your first step here. Enjoy the webinar and speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
I had repeated breakups with a woman that I was crazy about last year. And so in terms of the passion and the romance, the chemistry, it was 10 out of 10. It was absolutely, a dream. And she was also very intelligent, beautiful, and big personality, and she had a lot going for her. So, and for me, the relationship, it triggered, even with the repeated breakups, it still triggered some deep-seated things in me, right? So I was not in a good place, and I saw your your Facebook ad.
Yeah.
And I saw, and so the first thing I saw was get your ex back by getting over your ex. And I thought right away, I'm like, okay, well, first of all, you'd be a charlatan if you're literally telling people, I have a magic way to get your ex back. First of all, because there's all kinds of problems with that. But the fact that you were saying by getting over your ex, or getting how did you put it? Find yourself.
Exactly, by getting over your ex. Yep.
Yeah. So find yourself, right?
Or get your ex back.
Okay. Well, that makes me
either one.
That makes me curious, and it made me think. At first, it was just like, oh, well, what would I have to lose by opening this video and watching it, right? And then as soon as I saw your video, it was short and to the point, and you said something like, if all the self-development in the world doesn't matter, if you can't control your emotions, you essentially know nothing, right? And I went, that's me. I'm an accomplished person. Like, I have a lot of things under my belt, which would indicate that I have control over my thoughts, feelings, emotions. I'm kind of, I've done some things facing fear over and over. I'm a skydiving instructor, for example. And yet, like so many people, the relationship brought me to my knees, right?
Yeah.
So I was in a place where I was feeling a lot of guilt and shame and sadness and regret over what I had done, but also a lot of anger, bitterness, resentment, rage, and jealousy because she went back to, another ex and is now got engaged or married or whatever the hell she is. I don't know. But the point is, at that point, I was in a really bad place. So I thought, okay, well, what I understood right away from the self-development I've done, I've talked about Dr. Joe and Tony Robbins, and what I understood right away from your language is you're providing a way to rewire. This is stuff I knew in theory that would be the way to change that emotional pattern instead of going years of sitting in that same spot, or just very slowly, like the cliche that time heals all wounds. Like, so you're going to take months or years to get back to a place of feeling healed.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw that, I'm like, okay, I know what you're talking about here. You're actually talking about NLP, or if not, you're talking about a way to rewire those neural net pathways, those emotions that are destructive and don't serve you. And so it made me want to investigate further. And when I don't actually remember much from that point, but I just knew I was kind of like, well, if this guy's for real, then
Yeah.
you've actually got. I mean, I just came back from UPW, as you know, Unleash the Power Within, Tony Robbins live event. It was in Florida live, and it was life-changing, man. And the thing about it is that I've followed a lot of his work for decades, but I'm too much of a thinker. Sorry, I have been too much of a thinker and not enough of a doer. And I knew that what you had to offer was actually a program specifically for this situation, and that it could really have an impact. And so I just said, what's the alternative? What's the
Not good.
alternative, man?
Yeah.
Like try and figure it out on my own. Well, how's that been working out, right? I mean, that's when we're left to our own devices.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like even Tony says over and over, like you have to like you cannot. Well, this isn't necessarily even him. I don't know where I got this from, but you cannot change anything significant in your life in the same emotional state with the same energy and the same emotion that got you there. That's like trying to rebuild a house with the same tools that smashed it to the fucking ground. Like it'll never work, right? If you had the tools, you have them, but if you knew how to use them, you'd be doing it already.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone needs a coach. Even Tiger Woods needs a coach. So I think this guy can help me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And
Does
did
that
I
answer
help
your
you?
question?
And did I help you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
I can't help
yeah,
myself on that.
yeah, I very, very quickly saw like, hey, um, as soon as I started doing the practices you gave me, I realized this is like that's the rewiring is happening right here and right now. I'm doing this fucking practice right now. I'm
Yep.
doing it. I'm rewiring right now for the sake of rewiring, not for the sake of getting my ex back or for any other reason. I'm doing this to change my emotional home so that I don't gravitate towards making things wrong, making situations wrong, making her wrong, feeling disempowering emotions that are never going to change anything anyway, no matter what. So I knew that, and I started, and so initially I just got really excited about the idea of I could see it was a more empowering emotion to even get powerful, get angry, and then to learn to climb the emotional ladder and have a process of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So you had some very good, some real meat and potatoes there tremendous value for what to do and how exactly to do it, like
Mhm.
exactly. So that, yeah, you helped me a lot.
Good. That is, so for everyone listening here, it did work.
It did
Good.
work,
Yeah,
yes.
I had to ask that. You just kind of prompted me for that. But yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that, and come back full circle to anyone who listens to this here. It's like, and you remember, I always tell people like you have to appreciate even our first phone call. Remember, I said if you do this, Kevin, you're doing this for one person alone. I don't promise you what she or anyone's going to do or not do. They got something called free will. This is to break that pattern at the core. If that's what you want, you and I will knock it out of the ballpark, but it's for one person only. And I always make sure people understand that here. The title, is what it is. It'll mean something to certain people. And I guess it spoke to you, get your ex back by getting over your ex. But the real emphasis is on getting you back, getting over that, not breaking that pattern at the core. Because the truth is, if anything would do it, that would be it. I mean, I shift people, the odds in favor tremendously for people as long as they understand, don't do it for that purpose. Do this for yourself because you don't want to live at the mercy of your external world for your ability to have a great fucking day. We're not meant to live like that. As long as you understand that, you're doing it for yourself, your own rewiring in real time. Great, let's do it. But yeah, that's I always make sure that's really, really, really clear. I
You
mean,
have to show up as a different person. You can't be, like, oh, if I get my ex back, well, that it almost implies that, you want to go back to that situation, and you don't want that.
yeah.
You have to show up as a different person. You have to show up a different person in your life, right? And
Mhm.
so not just putting on some facade to win them back. It's actually got nothing to do with that. If that happens, great, but they would have to be a different person too. I know my ex would have to be, for it to work more than like 2 weeks again. Well, actually, for it to work more than one encounter with her, she would have to be different too. So anyway, that's just conjecture. But for me to show up differently in my life is the benefit that I saw
Yep. That's right.
to make those changes. So, and it applies to not just my romantic relationships, but also my work life and my family life and everything else. So yeah, I understood that, and it's the proof is there, man. It works. So that
Yeah.
I could see that the step-by-step process that you provided was, I hate to use the word idiot proof, but it almost is like, if you just buy into it and do it exactly as you say, like exactly, don't even think about reinventing the wheel. Don't question it at all. Just understand that you
Mhm.
pour your energy and emotion into that process, and that's what you're doing. And so you gave an exact blueprint, exactly to a T, to follow, and that's the difference, right? And again, I will say that Tony Robbins even says over and over, like, hire a coach, man. Like,
Yeah.
if your finances are a mess, you need to hire a coach. You need somebody who will hold you accountable, who will guide you along the way, hold your hand, and keep you between the rails until you're at that point where you're they've done all they can do, and you're on your way. And then you probably need to hire, you know but this but as I said, it was absolutely step by step, completely completely laid out. So yeah, it's the glue that binds the process together. Well, as you said, it's, I don't want to sit here searching for metaphors, but
Yeah. No, we
you
don't get
said
it.
it. It is
Yeah.
it is a process and not inspiration or insight. I once heard that an insight or inspiration is like a fart in the face. It hits you between the eyes, but it actually goes away pretty quick.
Yeah.
And your process isn't like that. It's like, get out of bed and get to work. This is exactly what you do
Yep.
every day, and it works. So yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And by the way, Tony, if you happen to see this by any chance, you never know, right? I think Tony Robbins, you're amazing. Like, there's a few key people out there he's awesome. And I'm sure he'd even tell you that's meant to be an introductory event. And for a lot of people, I remember when I went, and I did go to Tony Robbins UPW. It'll really blow people's minds because he does a fantastic job in really opening up your eyes and really giving you some massive paradigm shifts. And that's really a fantastic first step. But again, if you listen to it, so Tony, it's a fantastic event. You do a great job. I think you're incredible, but it is what it is. It's an eye opener. It's an eye opener. It's oh my God, these are the avenues I need to go next. And that's why he even tells you, like, here's some next steps with other coaches and with himself too. So Tony, it's a great event. Like, I'm not saying otherwise. Okay. But yeah. And like I said, when you do other stuff with him or anyone, and I always, when people, again, I take a lot of pride in what I offer as a true one and done. But even after people graduate, and you remember when I told this too, I said, hey, Kevin, I still encourage you to do personal development. Here's some ones you'd want to do, because now you have a framework. You'll get 10 times more out of it. So absolutely, personal development is a wonderful thing. I always encourage that. But it's great when you have a framework, a specific, repeatable, step-by-step framework that you can really make true, tangible outcomes out of, because you incorporate inside. So now when you do like a Tony Robbins event and you put that in what you did with me here, it's just, you're going to get fucking 50 times more than anyone else gets. Yeah. Like I said, again, I don't normally talk about other coaches when I do these like calls, but Tony really does an incredible job at shifting the paradigms. It's just that step by step that's not there. But the paradigms, it's like you really can. All the things. The reason why his programs are so exciting is because all the stuff he talks about, you're like, that's actually possible. It makes sense to me. It's just like, cool. Okay, now how do I do it? That's the real question. Okay, it makes sense. I got it. It's like, woo, like the lid blows off. Like, oh my God, that makes sense to me. But how do I do it? How do I do it? And that's what this is all about. It's about the specific how to address at the core in a consistent step-by-step process to get that ability to control the meaning, because you feel differently. When you feel differently, you do whatever the fuck you want. You can twist everything around. You pretend the most challenging day is the greatest blessing on fucking earth because you feel blessed. When you feel blessed and grateful and powerful, you can create whatever the fuck meaning you want. But how do you do it? How can you address that emotional core and feel that way so you can literally write your own ticket?
Yeah.
But literally, it's really, this is kind of, this conversation is going in some interesting directions here, but it's like, just like kind of like a back and forth text message I had with someone the other day who's, she's not even a week 2 here. She actually went through first 2 modules faster than anyone on ever. And she texted me, she goes, I love how you wrote, she goes, let me just, I'll even read it to you here. But this is the truth here, and it's taking. And again, I'll acknowledge Tony Robbins is definitely one of my biggest influences. He's really blew the lid on of as far as new paradigms, what's possible. But again, the next step was, okay, that makes sense, and I get that's possible. But how do I do it? How specifically I do it?
You never get it because you went to a 4-day event. You have to do it because you have daily practices that you can implement. Not just daily, but maybe even hourly or by the minute or whatever it takes, right?
Yeah, you have to have the consistent, repeatable practice. And she wrote this. I'm not just a new person who's doing the program. She wrote, "I loved everything you want is a feeling, and give it to ourselves." Right, and again, the difference is it's from concept to now she's actually able to experience it. But I wrote to her in responses, and this ties in what we're talking about here. It's the absolute truth. I wrote, every time and this is true. I mean, again, for anyone listening here, this is true. And for all of us here, if you think back, Kevin, to every time in your life, you felt deep gratitude, deep joy, incredible confidence, all those really highlight reel of your life, right? If you want to go with the movie now, just if you looked at that highlight reel of your life, and you looked at all the most beautiful, satisfying, joyful, grateful moments you ever had, no matter what reason you had to give yourself an excuse to feel that way, it was a promotion, whatever that might have been for you, whatever reason gave to you, never forget that reason didn't touch your fucking shoulder and say, here you go, Kevin, here comes your boost. I feel amazing. No, it always was biologically induced. It was always created from your own chemical factory. And that by definition really makes you God. When you say you have God power within, well, think about it. You pray to God so you can get a blessing, so you can be like, oh, thank you, God. But that beautiful gratitude that you felt because you were blessed came from you. You literally have God power within biologically. It's a fucking truth. So what a great gift to give yourself the even greater ability to be God each day, your own version of God, where you're literally creating you utilize your own body's chemical factory to feel amazing simply because you can. You can bless yourself each day. No different, same thing. But that's really what this is at the end of the day. You just get better and better at it, you know? Yeah, so yeah, this conversation went in an interesting direction. Normally I don't get these kind of talks, but yeah, that's why it's such an exciting process to really I always tell people when I first start with them, like you're going to have the opportunity, if you're willing to work hard, to really see what you're capable of. You know, you'll find out you had a muscle you never knew you had before. And what's going to be really cool for you personally, Kevin, is, you know, just like I think I forget how Bruce Lee's quote goes. He goes, you know, like you know, take what is useful, discard what isn't, and make your own. Make your own. You have the framework. What's going to be really amazing. That's why it'd be cool if you jump on the alumni call in a little bit here. You'll get to see and hear how other people have taken that framework, that Jeet Kune Do. I know you're into martial arts, obviously. So how people take that discipline and start to make it their own. You'll make some incredible improvisations yourself, your own innovations, improvisations over time, and you'll essentially create your own practice. But the cool part is that practice will always be, using the framework, repeatable, consistent. You can fire off that engine, become God whenever you want.
Yeah.
That's the only way to live. So when they say you have God power within, that's not so far from the truth.
Yeah.
Every blessing you ever got that you were like, ooh, I can celebrate. You could have celebrated anyway.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll just send in one last little question because I got just a few minutes before the call, and this is great. It was interesting. I like this one. It's very different here. So I'll just ask one last question here. So Kevin, if you knew anybody that was going through a really challenging time in their life, right, and that person was considering going down the classic conventional methods, you know, a therapist, counselor, you know, I mean, you know, books, videos, you know, some kind of life coach. If someone was actually thinking about going down these long drawn out routes where that person, that thing, that source, we're just saying, quote, takes time. From your experience here, does it really have to be a long drawn out, multi-year, decade long finding yourself? Or would you maybe want to tell people there might be a little bit of a better option?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not that. It's what society conditions us to believe, because we tend to hang around the same people we've always hung around, have the same random beliefs about that, because you know that might be how they dealt with breakups, or they dealt with a death in the family, or whatever it might be, something really difficult and challenging that you're supposed to grieve for months or years or whatever it is, or you know, yeah, it just takes a while to get over whatever a while is, you know. But it's most people out there just, you know, as I've heard somewhere before, are just lost, and they're trying to find themselves. Like they don't know, and they don't have a way, and I mean, they don't have the tools, and they certainly don't have a process to deal with it. So they're going to say what they're going to say. You're going to believe what you've always believed, and you know, you need, if you have a way to not only replace the beliefs, because that's like, well, take this sentence out and insert another one. That's not really a process. That's not a sustainable process. You have to believe it on a biological level, emotional level, with new energy and emotion. I keep saying that, but when you get that part, it can be very quick. You could make that change very quick. And so, yeah, you need the tools to do it, but it could be a very, very fast transition. You can get over someone really fast. And I'm the type of guy, this is coming from the type of guy that I really hold on to things. Like, it served me well. I've held on to careers and some things I'm very passionate about for decades. You know, I just stick to things way longer than I see people do in my than almost anyone I know. And that being said, that also is destructive for me because I hold on to things that don't serve me.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's come from this guy, right? I'm telling you, that's my pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still saying that you could make these changes very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It can be done. And if you follow Lance, I promise you that you'll have a method to get over it, like fast, within days, weeks, not even months. You'll be well on your way within days, honestly.
You gave
By
me
a weekend, I was well on my way.
wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And this is still only the beginning. On that note, you said something brilliant there that I really love. That I've again, you're giving me a lot of really interesting. This is a different conversation I've had in one of these before. So you said something really awesome that I think is a really great way to close here. So that phrase you said, when someone is lost and can't find themselves, that is such a cliche. I'm lost. I can't find myself. I gotta find myself. You know, that's how people talk. To anyone listening to this call here, when you say, if someone says I'm lost and I can't find myself, you know what you're really saying? You're saying, I don't feel very good and I don't know how to get back to feeling good again. That's all you're really saying. When you feel fucking amazing, you're not lost. When you feel like the world is your fucking oyster, when you feel that way, has nothing to do with your details. When you feel great, you're not fucking lost. So if it's you or anyone, again, to anyone listening to this call here, if it's you or anyone you know, when someone says they're lost and they can't find themselves, what they're really saying to you is, I don't feel so good and I don't know how to get back to feeling good again. They could say, I don't know how to get back to feeling good about myself again or about my life. It doesn't matter. They just don't know how to get back to feeling good again. And I know that makes sense to you guys. So if you feel lost, there's actually a really straightforward way to get back to feeling found. When you feel great, you're fucking found. I know everyone listening to this call here, at the end of the day, I know what you all want. You want to have the ability, the consistency, the control to feel great every day. And when you have that, you don't feel fucking lost. So if that's how you're feeling, what you're really saying is, I don't feel so good and I don't know the path to get back to feeling good again. But here's the good news for you. It's a clear, straightforward path. It was never a concept. It's a wiring, a conditioning, a different kind of muscle. And when you strengthen that kind of muscle, it gets easier and easier and easier to feel better and better and better. And when you feel great again, you're fucking found. It's not complicated. There's a straightforward path to get to find yourself again if you want it. When you recognize the truth is, it's not about finding anything. It's about getting your ability again to feel good again. That's all it is. Simple, straightforward. So if you feel lost and you want to feel found, it's not a complicated path. If you have an opportunity to reach out to me. We can have a conversation and I'll give you a straightforward path to find yourself because you'll feel great. Please go to refocusonhappiness.com. There's a nice little form on there. You can fill out a little form, reach out to me, just hit the contact Lance button, and I'll help you find yourself. I'll help you find a consistent way to feel a lot fucking better, and you'll be found. So that's it. Kevin, thank you so much for that. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much, man.
My pleasure.
All right.
See you, bud.